2. It says, "My brethren, count it all joy when you fall into various trials, knowing that the testing of your faith produces patience." So first line, we're going to study 6 lines here, 6 verses. So it basically says, count it all joy. So count it as joy when you fall into a trial, knowing that the testing of your faith, the use of your faith, produces patience. But let patience have its perfect work, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking nothing. So the way we build patience and the way we build faith is to have a need, a trial, something that we require God to be involved in. And when we give it to God, while we're in that waiting period, it produces patience. And when patience has its perfect work, we may be perfect and complete, lacking nothing. 1 Peter chapter 5 says, after you've suffered a while, you'll be established, you'll strengthen, it'll settle you. It brings maturity. You know, we can't see God's hand in great blessings the way we see God's hand in great deliverances. It's common. Great blessings, we think we're a part of it. I mean, at the end of the day, we think that we were a part of that blessing. When it comes to being delivered from something we can't be delivered from unless God's involved, that's where we see his hand. And so the Bible tells us here, we become perfect or mature, complete, lacking nothing, because we realize whatever we lack, we know that God will provide. If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives to all liberally and without reproach. So if any of you lack something, let him ask God, so that's prayer, who gives to every man without reproach, doesn't belittle us or put us down. It'll be given him. But let him ask in faith with no doubting, for he who doubts is like a wave of the sea driven by the wind. So doubting is the opposite of faith. So there's faith and there's no faith. There's doubting. So the Bible says here that if we doubt, it says 2 things. We'll be driven by the circumstance. In other words, the circumstance here is the wind and the waves that will toss us and bring us where they're going to take us. The next verse, 7, says, "Let not that man suppose he'll receive anything of the Lord. A double-minded man is unstable in all of his way." So when we go to God in faith, we can't waver or doubt or have no faith, because the circumstance will win. Whatever we're praying for will overcome us unless God operates in mercy. And so we need to understand that the ball is in our court. If we go to God and we ask God, we have to believe he heard us. We have to believe it's his will, and he'll deliver us. But we have to wait in faith. And that waiting in faith is the way we build patience. That waiting in faith is the way we get settled, strengthened, and established in the things of God. Because we can't take care of it ourselves. And so because we can't take care of it ourselves, there's no room, there's no doors in the room. We can't find a way out. God produces that way out. That's where we see his hand. That's where we build our faith. And that's what settles us and strengthens us and establishes us in the faith, knowing that when God does that once, he'll do it again. And so this process here in James chapter 1 is vital, that we read it and read it and read it again. You know, the need brings us to a place where we have to use our faith. When we use our faith, we have to wait patiently for God, knowing he'll take care of it. Perfection is not wanting anything, because we know God has it. And then in that place, we don't have worry, concern, fretting, or anxiety. By losing faith and moving to fear, whatever we're praying for is going to overcome us. We're not going to get delivered from it. A great example of this was Peter walking on water. When he looked at Jesus in faith, he walked on water. When he took his eyes off and he seen the wind and the waves, that they were boisterous, fear came, faith left, and he began to sink. And so the same thing happens to us in our life. Thank you for watching today. Please share, follow, like, and make a comment. It helps us in our algorithms with social media. And then pray about becoming a partner for 10 or 25 or 50, something monthly, to help us build our foundation of donors. Anyway, God bless you. Have a great day.